Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about a thing called the Buyerarchy of needs. So if you've ever taken a psychology class, you've probably heard the term Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So this pyramid kind of thing is something that all humans need for survival. So it goes from our basic needs up to what we need for self-fulfillment. The visual designer Sarah Lazarevic created this adaptation of Maslow's hierarchy of needs to talk about consumption and the practices that we should take with our basic needs up to the last resort of what we should do when we are buying something. This visual is a really good representation of what we should be doing to be living a more sustainable lifestyle. So I think it's a good introduction, and I'll be going through each step and giving you examples today. So the bottom tier of the pyramid is to use what you have. Often when people get introduced to the sustainability movement, there's a set of aesthetics that come along with it. And although it's nice to have a room that's white and clean and blues and all that kind of stuff, it's not necessary. The most sustainable thing that you can do right now if you want to get involved in the movement is use what you have. I've seen a lot of bloggers focus on getting replacements for things such as plastics, but for me it doesn't make any sense to throw away a perfectly good item just because it's made of plastic. So when you have the urge to buy something new, the first thing that you should do is look around wherever you live and try to find that thing. A lot of us probably have items that we have stashed away, either in a junk drawer or things, so using those items first is this first step in reducing the amount of waste you have. The next tier is to borrow something. So if you really need an item, but you don't need it for a long time, borrowing is the next best option. So especially on specialty trips, like camping or things like that, it doesn't make sense to go buy a tent if you're only going to do it once every 5 years. This will actually save you money, obviously, because you're getting it for free, but it also allows you to not bring something into your home that you're only going to have to use about 1 or 2 times. The sharing economy is something that we should all be taking more advantage of, and especially with the advent of things like Uber and Airbnb, we have incorporated the sharing economy into our lives, but some of the things have fallen out. Another example of borrowing in our daily lives is the library. I have the tendency in Goodwill to go in the book section and kind of go crazy because they are only $2 for a book, and it's nice to find books that I wouldn't have thought of beforehand. But lately I've been trying to really look online and try to find books that I really care about and that interest me, and then go to my local library to try to find it first. This is a way to really support your community and get things for free so you don't have to pay for them. So again, borrowing is best for times where you need something for one use, or it's a really expensive item that you really don't want to invest in. The next tier is swapping, which works really well when you actually want to own something. An example of swapping is doing a clothing swap with your friends. So I think that this is a really cool idea, and if I had more friends, I would do it more often. But a clothing swap is basically where you take some of the clothes that you don't want, let's say like a t-shirt and a skirt, and you bring them to a clothing swap party where you can take 2 items. So if you bring 2 items, you take 2 items. And I think this is a really cool way to get new items into your wardrobe and have a social fun event while reducing your waste, not spending any money, and contributing to your sharing economy. You may have noticed that the first 3 tiers actually don't cost you any money. That's because when you're trying to be more sustainable, it's better for your planet and it's better for your wallet. The next level is to thrifting. So if the first 3 are something that's not plausible for the item that you're looking for, then head to your local thrift shop or consignment store to find it secondhand. So since 2016, I haven't bought any new clothing from stores, but I'm trying to transition also to everyday items and not buying them new. This step takes more of a shift in mindset, as it's really easy to just go to your local Target and pick up something because, oh well, it's only $1 and you might as well. Thrift shopping is actually one of the most sustainable things that you can do, and you can give back to local charities or organizations. So as I said, the first 3 layers of the pyramid don't cost you anything, and if you add in the 4th, actually no new materials are used in those 4. So the point of the pyramid is to really look at what items you need and reduce the impact that your purchases make. The next tier is to make the item that you need, and this is harder for people who aren't as crafty as others. So if you really like Pinterest and you can figure out how to make things, then this is a step that will probably more pertain to you. Instead of buying artwork, you can make it. Instead of going out and buying food, you make it at home. But that really reduces the amount of waste, and you can learn new skills and things like that. Some really simple and foolproof things to make are look up recipes to make face masks or lotions, stuff like that, where you can DIY it and it's almost as good as the original. The final tier of the pyramid, and the one that you should always resort to doing last, is buying things. And even within this part of the pyramid, there are certain things that you can do to make it more sustainable or less sustainable. What I mean by this is looking at the companies that you buy new things from. So there are lots of certifications that you can look up, and I will link a list of my favorite companies below in the description. But some companies are more ethical and use more sustainable resources than other companies. So that's the Buyerarchy of needs, and if you'd like to see more videos about each section and what kind of examples and what impact they have on our lives, go ahead and leave down in the comments which one is the most interesting to you. The main takeaways that I'd like you to get from this video is that it does not cost a lot of money to be sustainable, and most times it costs less money. The sustainability movement is often seen as something that's more of an elitist movement, but it's really not, and it doesn't have to be. So there are changes that you can make and changes that you can have your friends make to make this planet a better place. So that's all for this week, and I'll see you next Monday.